Welcome to the Your Leadership Legacy podcast. My name is Tina Paulus Kraus, and I'm so excited to bring you this next podcast dedicated to you high performers out there who want to reinvent yourself, reinvent your business, maybe your career, all of it. This podcast is all about being dedicated to transformation and being the best possible leader of yourself and others that you can be in order to create a legacy that lives on. Welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus Kraus. I am the founder and CEO of True You Teams. And here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus Kraus, and I am over the top excited today because I get to welcome Danette May to the show today. So hi, Danette.
Hello. How's everybody?
I got to tell you, when I was putting this show together and thinking about, Your Leadership Legacy, I could not think of anyone who is a bigger leader leaving a legacy right now, because I've watched you for the last 4 years do just that. So if you could please introduce yourself and let everybody listening know kind of who you are and a little bit about you, that would be amazing.
All right. Well, my name is Danette May, and it's interesting to talk about myself, but I have the tagline because I've been known as America's leading healthy lifestyle expert. And I actually take that really seriously. So for me, being this healthy lifestyle expert is that I really commit myself to finding the truth around how people can really step into the healthiest ways to live their lives, and how can they really step into this idea of health without it consuming their lives as well, so that they can truly enjoy the people and the experiences around them. And so for the past 5-ish years, I've really dived into honoring my soul's call. I went from literally $47 to my name, lost my son, had my rock bottom, which I believe is the true gift in this whole thing, is my rock bottom, because it really helped me rise up into who I am today. And so happy to say that I get to live my passion and purpose with a team of about 70 full-time employees around the world, where we give out content to about 1.5 million people that read my blog every day, and then continuity program around health and wellness and fitness and nutrition and mindset. And it's just such an honor to be of service and to do what I know I'm meant to do.
Yeah. And you are amazing at it. You've been my coach now for 4 years, and I showed up at one of Lori Harder's retreats, and you were a speaker there, and listening to you and your story and the words that you spoke just really, really spoke to me. And hence I followed some of your programs and stuff like that. And it's been this amazing, amazing journey. So when we talk about leaving a leadership legacy, which is kind of what this series is about, what does that mean to you?
I really love that. And I'm going to kind of spin this back onto you, Tina, because we can think of leadership and we can think of legacy. So for me, for example, I'm not actually interested in leadership, because I think everybody thinks they're a leader and everyone wants to be a leader. I'm actually more interested in inspired leaders, people that are willing to step in spirit, which is inspired leadership. And that means governing from a space of what the soul wants, not what the ego wants. And to me, that is the foundation of a legacy. And I really commend you, because I've been able to watch you as well. We've both grown so much in this 4-year journey. And I think, this legacy is just one foot in front of the other each day, even when there's fear, and showing up in that expression. And ultimately it leads to a legacy, but no one can map out a legacy. It's really honoring what's the next best move today.
Yeah. And not letting fear hold you back, which is, so when I think about the coaching that I've done with you, corporate America for 22 years. And that was my identity, unfortunately. That's who I thought I was. And one day you wake up and realize, oh, I'm not following my soul's calling. Oh, I am this other person. And to me, when I started thinking about leaving a leadership legacy, it was all about that. It was all about, when I lead myself from a place of my soul's calling, other people see that and the impact of that. There's this ripple impact. And I see that so much in your programs, right? It's a process. And so talk about when somebody gets this wake up call and they go, oh, okay, I don't know that I completely understand yet, but I know that I need something, and I know I need to make a change in my life. Talk about that process that you lead people through to really help them see themselves for who they truly authentically are.
Yeah. And I think that's a big question, is people are like, how do I know what my soul's saying? And it comes in different forms. So how someone receives information doesn't mean that's the way you're going to receive it. So really freeing yourself up from that illusion that it has to look a certain way is the first thing. So just recognize within your body, is your body showing you signs? Are you getting sick a lot? Do you have body aches? Really listen to that, because your body's trying to communicate either its relationship or career or something that you're not expressing fully. So really check into that. And then what I do is, people know this, right? So then they usually are like, oh, I've gained a lot of weight, so I'm going to check in with Danette May, or they might come in through different avenues. So what I know is that we're comprised of this body, right? We're comprised of this like heart, and we're comprised with our logic. And we also eat food all day. So food is such a powerful tool and powerful medicine. It's something that everyone does every single day. So why do we not take it more seriously? So when people come into my programs, they're either coming in, we have different portals that we bring different people in, and we speak to whatever that person needs to hear to come in. So it might be that I've gained all this weight and I feel low on energy, and I feel not good in my skin. So they come in that way, or they're maybe really sick and they've got, skin disorders or disease in the body. They'll come in through the food avenue. And then others are coming in through the heart space. They're like, I want to be happy. I want to live out my soul's expression. And I think that's really how you came in, is you were listening to hear more than anything else. And so everyone comes in. And so what I try to do is really remind people that, one, healing foods, healing movement, and a healing mindset will lead you to what your soul wants to express, not what Danette thinks you should express or some other person you might look up to, but what is your soul expression? And like filtering through all the media and all the nonsense to get to your own answers.
Yeah, that programming is so huge. I think one of the things that you helped me realize was that, like, however old you are today, that's how much programming you've had in your whole life. And like, it takes a long time to get through that programming and to really understand it. And it's so exactly what you said. I showed up with you just knowing that something was wrong, or feeling like I was wrong, or feeling like I needed something different, and not knowing what my purpose was, not even knowing that that's what I was in search of. And then through that process and through everything that happens through the coaching and just kind of coming into your own person, that's where I found my passion and my purpose. So it's such a good point that you don't go into it knowing what it is. You go into the journey trying to find yourself, and then through finding yourself is where you
find your genius, right? Like, we think that the work's outside of ourselves, but if we would just take time every day to work internally, really work on the inside of ourselves, the whole external world shifts and changes to what beautiful illusion you want to create.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So what do you think holds people back the most? So if somebody kind of gets to that point, what holds them back from really going all in?
Well, I believe there's multiple things that can hold people back. And when I do my coaching, I talk about it being the upper limit issue. So it can be that you don't want to shine too bright. It could be that you deal with anxiety and worry, and so you sit in that. There's a lot of different things that hold people back. But I'm going to say a really core fundamental, I think underneath all the surfaces is this feeling of I'm not enough. But the way it manifests, I think, in a mass majority, is this really deep fear of judgment, this deep fear of not being truly seen for who you are and how you express yourself. So then no one's really stepping into their soul's call, because what if it doesn't work out? Then I'm going to get judged. Or what if I say something and it's misinterpreted? Then I'm judged. And so no one's really stepping into their thing because of this fear. And they say, oh, I'm afraid of failure. Your fear of failure is only because you're afraid of your judgment of that, not because of you're going to have to start over. It's because you don't want other people to think something of you. So I really want to get people unlayering and unpacking this judgment. So I've stepped into a lot of deep work on my own, hopefully being an example and really feeling it and seeing it myself, because it's really what cripples us underneath the surface, why we don't go into full expression.
Yeah, completely. And, so I talk about this show being your leadership legacy. And I think a lot of the times when people think about leader and leadership, you have to be in corporate America or in business and have a title. I think one of the biggest things that I've realized in the last couple of years is that we are leaders of ourselves, whether we have a title or not, right? Like, we lead ourselves first. And when we can lead ourselves first, then we can be better leaders of other people. And so when we think about, if I'm somebody who's listening and I'm a leader of people, because you have a team of, what did you say, 70 people, that you got a lot of stuff going on in all directions. How do you keep your team motivated? How do you keep them moving in the right direction? How do you make sure that because everything's moving fast in today's environment, and if your people aren't kind of operating at optimal, it tears down the team. So how do you really address that in your team?
So I'm going to go businessy for you guys for a minute, and I'm going to kind of go maybe a little bit what people aren't going to know that they're going to hear for a minute. For me, I don't actually focus on my leadership. To me, is not to my team. My leadership is to my community, to my followers, to the people I'm actually trying to reach. And I have learned through this journey of business that my best use of time is to hire someone who can express truly my heartfelt mission to my team. Because I don't believe my genius and my mission is to move my team. Doesn't mean I don't have a team and I'm in denial. It just means I get to hire people that are better at that than me, and then just govern my own energy, because my team will feel it. My team will know can sniff out authenticity quicker than anyone, right? Your team, people, your community. So I just try to stay into the heart of what does my community need? And my community is my team, but ultimately I try to get the team just listening to whatever I'm sharing with the community, give it to them all for free so that we're all growing together. And then they know that's Danette's why, that's Danette's mission. They get fueled up from it. They get to do the inner work, and then the team grows as well. So that's really how I look at it. I am an expert at hiring a really amazing people. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Because I feel like there's this, like, leadership has changed over time. The way we lead today cannot be the way that we've led in the past. And it's certainly not in the future as we think about the future of work and where everything's going. So how has leadership evolved for you? Like, when you look up and out and you kind of see leadership as a whole, how do you think it's different today and tomorrow than it has been in the past?
I think it's changed in different ways. So one, I think leadership was more about solo. People were just grinding, getting things done as an individual. And I think things are more collaborative now, which is so exciting to me, because I think that's really the truest way. Like, I have my hands like this, but I think of like dream catchers all the time. Like, whenever I close my eyes, I see dream catchers. Like, Tina has a dream, Danette has a dream, Bobby, Joe, Sue, whoever's listening, we have a dream. But if we can actually weave our dreams together, we catch more people, and our dream catchers actually get bigger. So that's why I would go on this. You came in, I coached you, but now I get to serve you and your genius, right? I get to help you in your community, because literally we're just creating dream catchers, and that creates collaboration. And it's not about me, it's really about we. And I think that's where leadership has shifted. I also think leadership has shifted, and we can see this in politics and in different realms, but people are, and also just with how people are reaching people via the phone, right? Live, we know, is actually more engaging than like an edited high production value video. And I think people are sniffing out authenticity more than ever. And it's because the shift of the internet, everyone has access to video. Everyone can actually create anything they absolutely want. It's like the greatest real estate we actually have. It's like it's like buying the property I live on for $1. Like, people are going to look back on this and be like, this was the greatest time in our lives to create our dreams. And really, ultimately, things have shifted, so we can see the authenticity right in front of our face. So leaders actually are getting sniffed out, the ones that are claiming to be leaders, but they're not actually practicing what they're preaching. They're just asking for your dollar. I think that is such a good thing for the authentic, inspired leaders, because then you're going to be able to progress, and the other ones are just not.
Right. Yeah. You can't hide anymore. Right. Like, even if you think about that from a leadership perspective, if you think about it from a data perspective, whatever, like, our world is highly connected, and authenticity is really kind of the future. So what advice would you have if somebody's watching this and they're really stuck in kind of this old school individual do, tell, fix mentality, and they just don't know how? Like, I get that I need to change. I get that I need to be authentic, but I'm still stuck in perfection and all that other stuff. What's the one piece of advice that you would give them on how they even just start to move forward?
Wow, that's such a deep question, because we've got to go back to the root, because there's so many of us still operating in this realm, right? And oh man, I think of, and I'm totally putting a stereotype, but I think of this corporate person. And I actually try to avoid hiring corporate people now. And I hate to even say that, but it's kind of true, because I've seen this, like, this mentality, which I'm like, oh, like, we need bending and swaying. And so the first thing that I would really ask you to do, I think this is what I would ask any human to do, even myself, is to, like, shut off some social media, shut off the news, shut off like any noise that you're listening to. Please, 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 everyone needs to shut the noise out. Like, this will help with judgment. This will help with your growth. This will help with so many things, your anxiety, all the things we're dealing with. Just shut it off. Like, maybe set like a goal, like, from this time to this time, there's no noise. Like, no one's talking to me. I'm not listening to music, no social media, and go out into nature and just hear what nature has to say. And it's gonna be so weird for some people, but I would say, like, start with 20 minutes. Maybe then you're gonna be like, that's so freaking juicy. I hope I have an hour a day for it. But this has been so fundamental for me, and so fundamental for any clients I've worked with. And it's just the most simplest free thing you can do.
Yeah. But we don't do it. We hold it. And it's because of that priority.
It's because of an addiction. And it's because of this, like, FOMO, and it's more the addiction than anything, but it literally snuffs out the inner voice and knowing that you already have. And so you actually cannot rise into your fullest expression unless you listen and go within.
Yeah, totally. So I want to ask you a question about motivation, because I watch you day in and day out, and you show up for the people that follow you day in and day out, and you show up with energy and just your amazingness and everything else. How do you stay motivated, Danette, on a daily basis?
Oh, I wrote about this in my book, The Rise, because I get this question a lot. Like, they're like, you're running this, like, 8-figure business, you're a mom to 2 kids, you have this amazing, powerful, like, passionate, loving relationship, you're healthy, like, whoa, and I get asked this a lot, and it's like, it's funny because I don't actually have the answer. And this is like the biggest lie that I think we all buy into, is that motivation is just, you're going to get motivated, and that some people have this motivation gene that others don't. And what I do know about motivation is that it is not something you get, you actually have to create. And so for me, it starts from the minute my eyes open. And I believe motivation is created. I am not the person who's, like, always wanting to work out and wanting to, always do the things that I produce. It's just that I start my day, which primes me. And this is not Danette. Like, you can hear any leader that I've been following, they all say the same thing, is about priming, but you got to find your own priming. For me, mine's not like jumping in a cold plunge and, like, screaming and dancing and puffing on my chest. For me, it's like literally, and that's okay if that's your juice. But for me, it's about knowing and remembering that I am sacred, that I'm made from the stars, that I am a divine intelligence. And it means everyone else's is too, because my kids, my little 11-year-old was, like, in the car with me, and I like to ask them questions, because 1, I'm a mom, and 2, I'm, like, just curious what they think, and I'm their mom, so I know they're not gonna, like, fluff it for me. And she's like, Mom, she's like, I think the reason, like, people are inspired by you, she's like, you always get up and you do your soul time, and you do these things that are always consistent. And I was like, wow, that's fascinating that she recognized this. But I always put something healing in my body. So I start with lemon water every morning. I wake up before anyone else can chat in my head or, like, and I notice there are days when I don't, then I'm behind. I'm actually feeling like my life is for everyone else. No, my life's for me. So I start for me first, and then I sit down and I do soul writing. And in the quiet, in the dark, basically, with a candle lit or the fireplace on. And what soul writing is I literally, in my journal, I will write with the intention, which I believe intention is so powerful, is the intention that actually my soul knows. My soul already knows, it's already been written, it's already been done. So I will ask, what would you have me know? And even today, I'm creating this show. So I wrote specific question of, what would you have me know around creating this show? What would you want it to look like? Asking my higher self, and then just being in free motion writing. Now, what will come of that for some of you who have not done this is you might be writing a grocery list at first, or be thinking about, I don't know, washing your jeans. I don't know. That stuff starts to come out first until you get really like more like the junk gets moved out. So just write whatever comes up. It might make no sense and it feels like a laundry list or a grocery list. Keep going, because as that you keep going, it'll get deeper and deeper and deeper to what is truly what the soul's trying to express.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's really just intention, isn't it? It's intentionally just having those systems and those processes in place and consistently doing them every single day. So I think that's amazing. I can't even believe that our time is almost up. I want you to talk about two things. Your book. I want you to talk about your book. And then I also understand that you have a free gift for the people that are listening. So if you could just tell us about those two things as we wrap up, that would be awesome.
Yes. So my book is called The Rise. And I wrote this book. It's interesting. The whole backstory, I'll spare you guys the backstory of it, because I was basically given this opportunity to write this book with Hay House Publishing, and they told me to write whatever I wanted to write on. And knowing that we are so governed by judgment, and we're so governed as a society by not stepping into everything because of fear of judgment. And I recognized that that was massively in me. And I felt the call to write about all of the journey of going from $47, really before that journey started, of $47, like really my journey from all this pain, refiner's fire, whatever you want to call it, rock bottom, to really rewriting the story of my life and telling the stories that I didn't really want anyone to know because of judgment, because of vulnerability, because I realized that's the biggest hang up we all have. What if we unlayer, unmask, and show it all and give permission for others to do the same? And I did know that some people wanted to know, like, how did you go from $47 to an 8-figure business in 5 years? Did you have struggles with motivation? What are the things that you do? How did you land these partnerships or these things? And I did specific things, different visualizations, which I share in there. I ate specific foods, specific movements that I did to keep my energy high and to reroute this destiny that I was on. I was really in a low space and struggling financially, emotionally, single mom, like broke as a joke, to really rewriting my story. And also my 11-year-old would say, if it can happen for you, Mom, anyone can do this, because they've seen it all. And I love that they can actually see that, because I'm so human for them, right? Mm-hmm. So they know that they can create whatever they want to create. And that's so beautiful, that legacy, right? That's really what that legacy is if Absolutely. I can inspire those 2 girls, I've done my job. But I do know it's more than 2 girls. So anyway, that's what the book is about. And so I share it all. Like, I give you all the tools I did and all of the other juicy nuggets in there too. And that feeds into my gift. So I want you to start feeling better instantly. And I do know the power of food to do that. And just one day of eating can shift your state. It can shift your energy. It can shift how you look and feel. One day. So I'm going to give you a 1 day. You might get a 3-day bonus. We'll see. We can't tell what link I gave you, but 1 day will shift your state. And I want you to feel that. I want you to feel what superfoods can do for you mentally, physically, emotionally, because it's all tied to your success. And granted, people can reach success or this business or whatever and do it banging on walls, letting other things fall, their health. But what if you could actually have superfoods in your diet and speed dial your success? I feel like that's kind of my claim to fame, is speed dialing success. And I want you to have that, and I want you to feel that. So I'm going to give away that for free.
Amazing. I love the speed dialing to success, because my husband, before I knew you, had been on me for, I don't know, a year or so about clean eating and eating better. And, you know, he finally ended up taking over the grocery shopping and the cooking. And I'm like 3 days into your 30-day program. He's like, seriously, I've been telling you this forever. And Danette says it, and now you're going to do it.
I love that, man.
I know, right? And here's the thing, Danette, I have seen you work through this process with thousands and thousands of women and now men, right? Over the course of the last 4 years. And so I've been saying since day one, you're the real deal, and your process and your coaching is transformational. transformational and it's life-changing. And I just could not imagine having this series without you on it. So thank you, thank you so much for being here, for showing up for me and so many other women in this world, and for just doing everything that you're doing in the world. You're amazing.
Thank you, Tina. And thank you all of you who took time to listen to this. I hope you got some value out of it, and we're sending you all our love.
Awesome. All right. With that, you guys, that's a wrap. We're going to wrap it up today. Come back tomorrow. We have another amazing, amazing video and person on. So Danette, thank you so much. And we'll see everybody later. Thanks, you guys.
My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our programs and events at trueyouteams.com. And until next time, make it an amazing day.